All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's March 1st. We're getting there, folks. This is a virtual confirmation hearing for the Health Coverage Insurance Financial Services Committee. We do have a number of nominees for the Maine Retirement Savings Board, and we will hear those confirmations this morning. And then we have one, what I think will be extremely brief work session scheduled for after the confirmation hearings. So that's our work for today. We'll also be doing language review at some point today as well on a number of bills. So before we begin with the confirmation hearings, we will go around and do our committee introductions. We'll begin with Representative Arford.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Madam Chair. I am Representative Poppy Arford, and I represent District 49, the western part of Brunswick.
And Representative Matheson.
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Christy Matheson. I represent District 1, Kittery.
Representative Blyer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mark Blyer. I represent District 22, which is Leamington and part of Buxton, Standish, and Limerick.
Representative Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. I am Richard Evans. I represent District 120, including the towns of Atkinson, Brownville, Dover, Foxcroft, Medford, Milo, Ornerville Township, and Lakeview Plantation.
Representative Melorano.
Good morning. My name is Gina Melorano. I represent House District 62, which is part of Auburn.
Representative Morris.
Good morning. I'm Representative Joshua Morris. I represent House District 75, which is Turner, Leeds, and part of Livermore.
And I see Representative Connor. You got here just in time for me to have you introduce yourself.
Just in the nick of time. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is John Connor, and I represent part of Lewiston.
Great. And Representative Tepler.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Denise Tepler. I represent House District number 54, which is all of the terrific town of Topsom. And I serve as co-chair of the committee.
And my name is Heather Sanborn. I represent Senate District 28, which is half of Portland and half of Westbrook. We are joined today by Colleen McCarthy-Reed, our OPLA analyst, and by Edna Caford, our excellent committee clerk, and also by Mr. Boucher, who is the representative from the governor's office, who will be working through our nominees list with this morning. The order of operations this morning is that we will be taking up first the nomination of Elizabeth Bordewitz, and then we will turn to the list in order as it's been circulated by our clerk, as far as I'm aware. So with that in mind, I will open the first hearing. This is a public hearing of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage Insurance and Financial Services for the purpose of considering the nomination of Elizabeth Bordewitz, Esquire of Portland, for appointments to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. Under the law and joint rules of the legislature, this committee is required to hold this public hearing and recommend confirmation or denial of the nominee by majority vote of the committee members present and voting. As chair of the committee, we will then send written notice of the committee's recommendations to the president of the Senate. The committee will hear testimony from and have the opportunity to question the governor's representative, the nominee, and any other persons present who wish to speak for or against the nomination. Pursuant to Title 3, Section 157 of the Maine statutes, which require that there be an affirmative motion to recommend confirmation of the motion, the chair recognizes Representative Tepler for the purpose of making such a motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that we recommend confirmation of Elizabeth Bordowitz to the Retirement Savings Board.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Representative Matheson. A copy of the statutory requirements for this position is available on the committee's webpage where public notices are posted. The chair now recognizes Mr. Boucher for the purpose of making a statement concerning this nomination.
Thank you. Good morning, Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services. My name is Joe Boucher, and I'm the Deputy Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Mills. I'm here today on behalf of the governor to speak in support of the nomination of Elizabeth Bordowitz, Esquire of Portland, for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. The board was established by LD 1622, an act to promote individual retirement savings through a public-private partnership, which was signed into law by the governor in June of 2021. The board is charged with developing and maintaining the Maine Retirement Savings Program. It consists of 9 members, the state treasurer or their designee, and 8 members appointed by the governor. Each seat does have specific requirements, so during today's hearings, I will give you a little bit about which seat each nominee is filling. Elizabeth Bordowitz of Portland is nominated as the member who has expertise and experience in program development and management. She's currently an independent mediator and a reservist for FEMA in hazard mitigation. Previously, Ms. Bordowitz worked with the Foreman S. Acton Educational Foundation, and for 25 years worked for the Finance Authority of Maine as general counsel, acting CEO, and from 2009 to 2014, permanent CEO. During her time at FAME, she was instrumental in the implementation of the Maine College Savings Plan, which shares similarities to the Retirement Savings Plan. Elizabeth Bordowitz's vast experience will make her invaluable to the Maine Retirement Savings Board, and on behalf of Governor Mills, I urge you to support her appointment. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Boucher. Are there any questions from members of the committee? All right, seeing none, the chair will now recognize Elizabeth Bordowitz for the purpose of making a statement concerning her nomination. So I will bring her into our panel. Good morning, Ms. Bordowitz. You can activate your microphone and your camera if you're able.
The microphone came on, the camera, for some reason, is not. Oh, there we go.
There you are.
All right. Good morning.
Wonderful.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services. I appreciate your moving my confirmation session forward. I am Beth Bordowitz of Portland, Maine, and I would like to first thank Governor Mills for nominating me to this position. And I'm happy to be here today to discuss my qualifications to serve on the Maine Retirement Savings Board. I'm aware that you've already been provided my resume, so I plan to focus on my past experience that I believe to be most pertinent to this position and why I'd like to serve in this position. As you've heard from Joe, I've spent most of my career working at the Finance Authority of Maine. There first as legal counsel and then as the CEO. And while I was there, I developed and implemented numerous programs to provide business and education finance for Maine residents. Of those many programs, the Maine College Savings Program, which is now known as Next Gen 529, was one of the biggest and most successful. And working with the state treasurer, we developed that program into a way for Maine residents to not only save for college, but to learn the importance of higher education and the importance of starting early to save for college, and the importance of taking care of the various matching funds available to meet financial goals. This experience is directly relevant to implementing a retirement savings program for Maine employees. My initial research into similar programs implemented across the country show that they are built on the same legal foundation as college savings programs. They are managed in a similar manner and with many of the same providers. That is not to say that it wouldn't be prudent to determine if other models or providers would be appropriate, but it provides a very strong baseline of information. As with college savings, building the education component into the retirement savings program will be essential. We must provide tools for program users to understand the benefits of retirement savings. And the way the program is structured will also require outreach to business to ensure that they are aware of the program. We must strive to make implementation of the program for businesses and individuals as easy and straightforward as possible, while complying with the numerous requirements that govern these kinds of financial programs. I'm most excited to working to ensure that the financial education component is built into this retirement savings program from the beginning, and determining how to get the word out about the program to employers and employees. These two factors will be critical to the program's success and will draw on my expertise. So thank you for the consideration of my nomination, and I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Bordowitz. Are there any questions for the nominee? All right, Representative Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's not a question, but Ms. Bordowitz, I am pleased to see you stepping forward to work on the education aspect of the program. I think that's something that's really needed. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Evans. I see no additional hands. So next, we will have you stay on the panel, Ms. Bordowitz, and the chair will now take comments from persons attending the hearing who wish to speak for or against this nomination. Anyone who has a written statement but does not wish to speak should have submitted the statement with the committee clerk prior to today's hearing. All such statements shall contain the name and residence of the person who prepared the statement. An electronic copy of each written statement presented to the committee at this hearing will be made available to the nominee prior to the committee's vote, and the nominee will have an opportunity to respond to the written comment. Those who wish to speak before the committee in the virtual meeting should observe the following. You should have already signed into our platform, and you can speak when recognized by the chairs. Only comments concerning the suitability of this particular nominee will be considered in order. So I will ask if there's anyone present who wishes to speak in favor of the nomination at this time. Please raise your electronic hands. All right, not seeing anyone in our meeting. I will next ask if there's anyone anyone present in the meeting who wishes to speak against the nomination. Please raise your electronic hands. Not seeing any electronic hands. I will ask if there's anyone else who wishes to speak on the nomination in any capacity. Please raise your electronic hands. Seeing none, all public comments having been taken, the committee will now proceed as follows. We'll review any additional written comments on the nomination that have been received by the committee, and then vote on the nomination and notify the President of the Senate pursuant to Title III, Section 157 in the joint rules. The vote must be taken within 35 days from the date of the governor's written notice, and we are within that time frame. So the hearing of the Joint Standing Committee of Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services for Elizabeth Bordowitz for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board is now closed. In accordance with the law, the committee may not take the vote on the nomination sooner than 15 minutes before the close of the public hearing, unless all committee members who are present agree. At this time, therefore, the chair will inquire whether any member present objects to the proceeding to take the vote immediately. Are there any objections to proceeding to the vote at this time? Seeing none, the pending question before the committee is that the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services recommend to the Senate of the 130th Maine Legislature that the nomination of Elizabeth Bordowitz for appointment of to the Maine Retirement Savings Board be confirmed. In accordance with 3 MRSA Chapter 6, Section 157 of the Joint Rules of the 130th Legislature, the vote will be taken by the yeas and nays. A vote of yes will be in favor of recommending the confirmation. A vote of no will be against the motion to recommend confirmation. Is the committee ready for the question? The committee clerk will call the roll.
Thank you. Senator Sanborn.
Yes.
Senator Sanborn, yes. Senator Brenner. Senator Stewart. Representative Tepler.
Yes.
Representative Tepler, yes. Representative Arford.
Yes.
Representative Arford, yes. Representative Bleier.
Yes.
Representative Bleier, yes. Representative Brooks. Representative Connor.
Yes.
Yes.
Representative Connor, yes. Representative Evans.
Yes.
Representative Evans, yes. Representative Matheson.
Yes.
Representative Matheson, yes. Representative Malorano.
Yes.
Representative Malorano, yes. Representative Morse.
Yes.
Representative Morse, yes. 9 members of the committee having voted in the affirmative, 0 in the negative.
Thank you, Ms. Kayford. It is the vote of the Joint Standing Committee of Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services that the nomination of Elizabeth Bordowitz for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board be confirmed. Congratulations, Ms. Bordowitz, and thank you for your service. We'll give you a little virtual round of applause as we would in our committee room. Thank you for your willingness to serve in this capacity for the people of Maine. And I'm going to move you back into the attendee space.
Thank you very much.
Okay. The next person that we will consider for our confirmation hearings this morning is Rebecca M. Wyke, PhD of Augusta. I will try and shortcut some of our script a little bit here, as otherwise I'll just be repeating the exact same words over and over again. But we will hear testimony now from Joe. No, I still need a motion. Sorry. Can't skip that far ahead. So we'll do it this way instead. The chair recognizes Representative Tepler for the purpose of making a motion on the confirmation of Rebecca Wyke of Augusta.
Madam Chair, thank you. I move that the committee recommend the nomination of, the confirmation of the nomination of Rebecca Wyke of Augusta to the board of the Maine Retirement Savings.
Okay, is there a second? I see Representative Matheson has seconded the motion. And the chair will now recognize Mr. Boucher for the purpose of making a statement concerning this nomination.
Thank you once again. Good morning, Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, distinguished members of the committee. Again, my name is Joe Boucher, and I'm the Deputy Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Mills. And I'm here now on behalf of the governor to speak in support of the nomination of Dr. Rebecca M. Wyke of Augusta for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. Following Senator Sanborn's lead, I'll shorten up some of my script a little bit and just let you know that Dr. Rebecca M. Wyke of Augusta will serve as the representative of an association representing employees, including covered employees, who has skill, knowledge, and experience relating to the interests of employees in retirement savings. She is currently the executive director of the Maine Public Employees Retirement System, and previously she has served as president of the University of Maine at Augusta, vice president of finance and administration for the University of Maine system, and also served as the commissioner of the Maine Department of Administrative and Financial Services. Rebecca Wyke's vast knowledge and experience will make her an invaluable addition to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. And on behalf of Governor Mills, I urge you to support her nomination. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Boucher. Are there any questions for Mr. Boucher?
Thank you.
All right, seeing none. Next, the chair will recognize Dr. Rebecca White, and I'm going to move her into the panel. Good morning, Dr. White. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, and members of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services. My name is Rebecca White from Augusta, and I am here today to discuss with you my nomination for the Maine Retirement Savings Board. I'm honored to be nominated to serve in this capacity and bring with me the knowledge and experience gained over a 30-year career in public service. I have a strong financial background and have overseen deferred compensation plans for employees as part of my responsibilities as Commissioner of the Department of Administrative and Financial Services, Vice Chancellor for the University of Maine System, and currently as the Chief Executive Officer at Maine PERS. I also bring with me experience serving on public, nonprofit, and private sector boards, currently as a board director for the Holocaust and Human Rights Center of Maine, and recently as a board member for the Augusta Board of Trade and the Kennebec Valley Chamber of Commerce, and a corporate board director for the Dead River Company. I hold a bachelor's degree in political science and master's degree in public admin from the University of Maine, and a doctorate in higher education, not a PhD, from the University of Pennsylvania. It's not sure where that came from. It's technically
okay.
And it would be my great pleasure to serve the hardworking people of the state of Maine in helping them to achieve financial security for their retirement. Thank you for the opportunity to make this statement, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Are there any questions for the nominee? Representative Tepler.
I'm sorry, I just have to say, go Quakers.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Seeing no further questions, the chair will now take comments from persons attending the hearing who wish to speak on the nomination. So I'll first ask if there's anyone present who wishes to speak in favor of the nomination, and I will bring over Senator Vitelli. Good morning, Senator Vitelli. You're welcome to proceed if you can unmute and start your video.
Okay, I'm trying to do both. There we go.
There you go.
Good morning. Thank you, Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, and members of the Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services Committee. My name is Eloise Vitelli. I represent Senate District 23, which includes all of Saginaw County and the town of Dresden and Lincoln County. And I thank you for the opportunity to testify in strong support of Dr. Rebecca White's appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. As a sponsor of LD 1622, the legislation that created the Maine Retirement Savings Board, today is a very exciting day. It is the result of years of hard work from so many individuals and organizations who are dedicated to helping Mainers improve their financial well-being, including many members of this very committee. As far as we've come, we still have further to go to get this program up and running and serving Maine people. In order to do that, we're going to have to draw upon the intelligence and talent of people like Becky White. Becky's impressive resume speaks for itself. She is a skilled leader and administrator whose experience spans decades, fields, and specialties. In her current role as CEO of the Maine Public Employees Retirement System, Becky helps manage a program that nearly 160,000 Mainers rely on for their retirement security. And though the Maine Retirement Savings Program will be a different program than Maine PERS,
Becky will bring to the program a specific insight into what Mainers look for and need as they prepare for retirement. I have known Becky for quite some time, and I've always found her to be someone who listens with empathy and who knows how to lead a group of people as they seek to accomplish a goal. Becky's personal skills and professional experience will be an invaluable asset to the board as they develop the program with the input of different stakeholders and experts. Even a brief glance at Becky's resume shows that she is adept at synthesizing different viewpoints and priorities into concrete plans of action and a vision for the future. Becky is a skilled manager who was able to usher large groups of people through times of important change. Now is one of those times. And I would just insert that I remember specifically while I was still at UMA, the difference that Becky made when she came and joined as president of that campus. It was no easy task, Becky, and I really thank you for the impact you had on that community. I thank you, members of this committee, for considering Becky's nomination and the nomination of all of today's appointees. Your thoughtful consideration will make a measurable impact on the lives of Maine people. Thank you. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Senator Vitale. Are there any questions for Senator Vitale? All right, seeing none, we thank you for your input on the nomination. I'm going to move you back to the attendee list. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of the nomination? Seeing no further hands, I'm going to ask if there's anyone else who wishes to speak against the nomination or in any other capacity related to the nomination. Seeing no hands going up, and having taken all public comments, the hearing by the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage Insurance and Financial Services for Rebecca White for appointments to the Maine Retirement Savings Board is closed. In accordance with the rules, we can't take the vote until 15 minutes after the close of the public hearing unless all committee members who are present agree. So I will ask if anyone objects to proceeding to the vote on this nomination. Seeing no objection, and the pending question before the committee is whether to recommend to the Senate of the 129th legislature that the nomination of Rebecca White for appointments to the Maine Retirement Savings Board be confirmed. Is the committee ready for the question? All right, the clerk will call the roll.
Thank you. Senator Sanborn.
Yes.
Senator Sanborn, yes. Senator Brenner. Senator Stewart. Representative Tepler.
Yes.
Representative Tepler, yes. Representative Alford.
Yes.
Representative Alford, yes. Representative Blyer.
Yes.
Representative Blyer, yes. Representative Brooks. Representative Connor.
Yes.
Representative Connor, yes. Representative Evans.
Yes.
Representative Evans, yes. Representative Matheson.
Yes.
Representative Matheson, yes. Representative Malorano.
Yes.
Representative Malorano, yes. Representative Morse. Representative Morse, yes. Representative Quint.
Representative Quint has joined us by phone, but since we can't see her on the screen pursuant to the rules of the 130th, she won't be able to vote.
Thank you. 9 members of the committee voted in the affirmative and 0 in the negative.
Thank you, Ms. Caford. So it is the vote of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage Insurance and Financial Services that the nomination of Rebecca White for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board be confirmed. Congratulations, Ms. White, and thank you so much for agreeing to serve in this capacity. We'll give you a virtual round of applause here in our virtual meeting. Thanks. All right, I'm going to move you back into the attendee list. And we will scroll back to the top of the script. And next we will, I did also, just so folks are aware, I dropped the list order into the chat. This is this is from the list that Edna circulated recently yesterday, I think, and this just happened to be the order she had them listed in. I'm really not sure where that order comes from, but that's the one I just happen to have in front of me and I'm following. So folks should be able to follow along with that list in the chat. So next we will take up the nomination of Tina Wilcoxon of Cumberland Center for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. So I will look to Representative Tepler for a motion on the confirmation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services recommend confirmation of Tina Wilcoxon of Cumberland Center for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board.
Is there a second? Seconded by Representative Matheson. And I now turn to the governor's representative, Joe Boucher, for his statement.
Thank you once again, Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, and distinguished members of the committee. My name is Joe Boucher, Deputy Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Mills, and I'm happy to be here to speak in support of the nomination of Tina Wilcoxon of Cumberland Center for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board on behalf of the governor. Tina Wilcoxon of Cumberland Center will serve as the representative of employers, including covered employers, or who has skill, knowledge, and experience relating to the interests of small employers in retirement saving. She has worked at Royal River Natural Foods, a community market in Yarmouth, selling local foods and other goods from more than 200 Maine vendors since 1996. I believe. I didn't write that down, but I think that's right. In 2013, she assumed ownership of the market and has more than 20 employees who are offered benefits, including access to a retirement plan. She's a member of the Retail Association of Maine, Independent Natural Food Retailers Association, and in 2015, she was named one of the National Retail Federation of America's Retail Champions. Tina Wilcoxon's experience as a longtime employee and now owner of a retail store will add a valuable perspective to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. And on behalf of Governor Mills, I urge you to support her nomination. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Okay. All right. Does the committee have any questions for Mr. Boucher? All right. Seeing none, I am going to look for Ms. Wilcoxon in the list and bring her in to make a statement. Good morning. When you're able, please activate your video and your microphone, and we'll be looking forward to hearing from you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Proud of myself as I do that. Good morning, Sir Sanborn, Representative Tepler, and members of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services. I'm here today to discuss my nomination for the board for the Maine Retirement Savings. I'm very much interested in having done a little
Ms.
research.
Wilcoxon, we're struggling
about why
to
this
hear
was
you.
Okay.
Ms. Wilcoxon, we're struggling to hear you, so I'm going to ask you to turn off your camera because that sometimes frees up enough internet speed so that we can hear you better.
Okay, is that better?
It is. Please proceed.
Okay. All right. As I was saying, I'm very much interested in being a member of this board because I think it is a wonderful and much needed program. I've found since, well, let me start that again. When I first started working at Royal River Natural Foods, the owner began offering a 401k program. And at the time, we probably had 8 full-time people working, and it was all young women. And the owner had gone through a divorce, and was really wanted to guide us and stress to us how important it was that we take care of ourselves and our future. And even though we weren't making very much money at all, we all signed up. I was making less than $10 an hour, but she convinced me to do it. And I'm very glad she did. So I've been with the company for 26 years and have worked in every department we have. And then eventually worked up to become general manager. And when I became the owner, when I was making the decision to become the owner, I wanted to be sure that I was going to do it in a manner that the previous owner had, and that I wasn't going to do it unless I could also be generous and offer good benefits. And I'm very happy I've been able to do that. I've worked with some of the people at my store for over 20 years. So it feels very much like a family business to me. And I feel more like a coworker most days. So I feel like I still remember very clearly what it's like to be an employee. And even though I'm now an employer, I feel like I can bring that experience to the board as well. Even though I offer great benefits, it's kind of surprising to me that some people who are eligible don't participate, and I'm not sure why. Maybe I need to do a better job of convincing them, but I don't know if part of it is the generation, or if people have a lack of faith in the stock market. But I do see a need for people to be saving for retirement in some way, and I think that this is a wonderful way to do it. So I would love to be of service. So I thank you for your time and your consideration for this nomination.
Thank you, Ms. Wilcoxon. And as a fellow small business owner, I can just say that I think that the auto enrollment piece of this is going to be really helpful to so many people for just the reasons that you describe. It's really tough to get people to take that first step towards savings. Are there any questions for the nominee? All right. Seeing none, we thank you for your testimony, and we're sad we can't see your face, but we did get a glimpse of you. So thank you for being here and being able to provide that testimony with your camera off. And next, I will turn to the attendees of the meeting and ask if there's anyone present who wishes to speak in favor of the nomination. Please raise your electronic hand, and I see one. So I will be moving Mr. Picard over, Curtis Picard, to speak in favor of the nomination. Good morning, Mr. Picard. Please proceed.
Good morning, Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, and members of the Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services Committee. It's nice to see you all. I think it's the first time I've been in front of you this session, and I'm pleased it's to support the nomination of Tina Wilcoxon. My name is Curtis Picard, and I'm President and CEO of the Retail Association of Maine. I'm also a resident of Topsom, and we have more than 350 members statewide and represent retailers of all sizes. I want to thank Governor Mills for nominating Tina to this post, and also sincerely appreciate Tina's willingness to serve as well. As you've heard, she's a small business owner and also very busy, but it's an issue she cares about. Tina, as you heard, owns Royal River Natural Foods in Freeport. She is a longtime member of the Retail Association of Maine and continues to serve on our board of directors. She also served as our board chair from 2015 to 2018. And Tina is also one of the people that I turn to for honest and direct advice and input on how certain proposals will impact her business. Royal River Natural Foods sells a wide variety of Maine-made and Maine-grown organic and natural foods, as well as a variety of healthy, natural personal care products. Despite significant competition in this sector, Tina has carved out a very loyal and dedicated following of customers and provides employment to more than 20 people. In the 10 plus years I've known Tina, I've come to know her as a role model for Maine small business owners. Tina started out at Royal River Natural Foods as an hourly employee. She worked her way up the ladder to general manager, as you heard, and eventually bought the business from the previous owner in 2013, and has now owned the business since then. The employees of Royal River are like family to Tina, and she's always looking for ways that she can do more for them. One of the ways Tina has been able to help her employees is to offer a 401k retirement plan, and she was one of the first retailers in Maine to enroll in our retail 401k program when we launched it many years ago. The retail 401k program is a multiple employer MEP that is open to retailers only. An MEP bundles together the assets of multiple participating retailers and drives down the overall cost to all. It was created by our association as a way to help Maine's retail workforce retire with dignity and to provide a lower cost alternative and better fiduciary protections to traditional 401k programs. Since its creation, the retail 401k program is available across the country through various state retail associations. Tina's experience with our program and previous retirement vehicles makes her well suited to serve as a business representative to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. This new board is tasked with enacting programs to help a great number of Mainers save for retirement, and Tina's experience will be helpful as the board fulfills its charge. I strongly support Tina's nomination, and thank you for the time today.
Thank you, Mr. Picard. Are there any questions for Mr. Picard? All right, seeing none, I'll look to the attendee list and ask if there's anyone present who wishes to testify in any capacity related to this nomination. And I don't see anyone. So all public comments having been taken, the hearing by the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage Insurance and Financial Services for Tina Wilcoxon of Cumberland Center for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board is now closed. At this time, the chair will inquire whether any member present objects to proceeding to taking the vote immediately. Seeing no objection, the pending question before the committee is that the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage Insurance and Financial Services recommend to the Senate of the 130th Legislature that the nomination of Tina Wilcoxon for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board be confirmed. The clerk will call the roll.
Thank you. Senator Sanborn.
Yes.
Senator Sanborn, yes. Senator Brenner. Senator Stewart. Representative Tepler.
Yes.
Representative Tepler, yes. Representative Arford.
Yes.
Representative Arford, yes. Representative Blyer.
Yes.
Representative Blyer, yes. Representative Brooks. Representative Connor.
Yes.
Representative Connor, yes. Representative Evans.
Yes.
Representative Evans, yes. Representative Matheson.
Yes.
Representative Matheson, yes. Representative Maloreno.
Yes.
Representative Maloreno, yes. Representative Morris. Representative Morris. Yes. Representative.
Your microphone doesn't seem to be working, Representative Morris. I don't know if you could switch to a different one.
Come on.
There you are.
How-
We can hear
how's
you
it
now. Go ahead.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
All right, thank
Representative
you.
Morris.
Yes.
Representative Morris, yes. Representative Quinn. 9 members of the committee having voted in the affirmative and 0 in the negative.
Thank you, Ms. Cayford. So it is the vote of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage Insurance and Financial Services that the nomination of Tina Wilcoxon for appointment to the Retirement Savings Board be confirmed. Congratulations, Ms. Wilcoxon, and thank you so much for being willing to serve the people of Maine in this capacity. All right. The next, I'm going to move you back into the attendee role. And next, we will take up the confirmation of, hopefully I'm saying this right, Gigi Guyton Thompson of Peaks Island. And So I will look to Representative Tepler for a motion to confirm Ms. Guyton Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services recommended confirmation of Gigi Guyton Thomas of Peaks Island for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board.
Is there a second? Seconded by Representative Connor. And so I will next turn to Mr. Boucher for a statement concerning the nominee.
Thank you once again, Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, and distinguished members of the committee. Again, my name is Joe Bushy, and I'm the Deputy Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Mills. I'm happy to be here today on behalf of the governor to speak in support of the nomination of Gigi Guyton Thompson of Peaks Island for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. Gigi Guyton Thompson will serve as the member of the board who has skill, knowledge, and experience relating to the interests of employees in achieving financial security and developing financial capability, including through retirement savings. She currently serves as the Regional Manager, Micro Enterprise Specialist, and a Certified Business Advisor at New Ventures, Maine, where she has been since 2008. In this role, she teaches financial planning and business planning courses to help women and men from underserved communities succeed in Maine's economy. Additionally, she has owned 2 of her own businesses and has taught communications courses at Louisiana State University and the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. Gigi Guyton Thompson's vast knowledge and experience will make her a valued member of the Maine Retirement Savings Board, and on behalf of the governor, I urge you to support her nomination. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Boucher. Are there questions for Mr. Boucher? All right.
Thank you.
Seeing none, we will turn to the nominee for a statement concerning her nomination, and I'll bring her into the panel now.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Thank you. Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, members of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services. My name is Gigi Guyton Thompson from Peaks Island. I am here today to discuss with you my nomination to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. I first want to thank you for your service and for all that you do. I also want to thank you for this opportunity to serve the state of Maine and its people. I consider this nomination an honor and a privilege. I was most recently named the Micro Enterprise Development Manager for New Ventures, Maine, leading a team of 6 micro enterprise specialists across the state. And I'm also one of the organization's 6 asset specialists. I've been with New Ventures, Maine for 13 years, helping low-income Maine people thrive in the Maine economy by helping them start and grow small businesses. I also teach financial literacy. I'm involved with the Greater Portland Cash Coalition, both as an IRS certified tax preparer and as an asset coach. To give you an idea of the work I've accomplished at New Ventures, Maine, I've partnered with the City of Portland's Office of Economic Opportunity to teach immigrants how to do business in Maine. And I have taught My Money Works, Start Over, Start Strong to incarcerated women in the Maine Correctional Facility and also the Southern Maine Women's Reentry Center. We also offered match savings up to $300 to help these women with reentry expenses upon their release. Senator Vitelli was my supervisor for many years before she retired and began using her own expertise in politics. And I've joked with her saying that I never really liked politicians until my boss became one. I highly respect her and all the work she's done here in Maine, and Senator Vitelli reached out to me and asked me to consider being a nominee to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. There are many aspects of this legislation and of the position description that resonate with me. Of particular interest are the following. First, it says that the board's duty to educate participants and potential participants on the benefits of planning and saving for retirement and help them decide the level of participation and saving strategies and so forth. This is exactly in line with what we teach at New Ventures Maine and in our My Money Works curriculum, and this is right up my alley. Second, you are looking for a board member who has a favorable reputation for skill, knowledge, and experience relating to the interest of small employers in retirement saving. This is of particular interest to me as so many of the micro business owners I have worked with over the years are now job creators. And I myself struggled with providing retirement savings for my employees when I owned a business in North Carolina. So I personally want to see this succeed. I was able to provide health and dental benefits to my employees, but could never get over that next hurdle of providing retirement savings for my small staff of 8. And this was nearly 20 years ago. Third, you are looking for a board member who has a favorable reputation of skill, knowledge, and experience relating to the interests of employees in achieving financial security. And I work with underserved and underemployed individuals daily. And this is another piece of our workforce development programming that I'm familiar with on many levels. Also, it says the legislation claims that the board may establish future requirements for part-time, seasonal, and temporary employee eligibility. Again, many participants we work with fall into this category because they turn to self-employment for income packaging to survive. I am eager to get to work on this piece to improve the economic lives of Maine people. And finally, the legislation states that the program currently will allow individuals who are not employees, including self-employed and independent contractors, to participate. Helping self-employed and independent contractors makes up a lot of my current work, helping them build business plans and financial plans. So I personally know this legislation is a big win for Maine small business owners, and I'm proud to be asked to be part of it. And I also want to point out that I have some expertise and experience in stakeholder outreach and engagement and marketing. I have a minor in marketing with my communications degree. I also have a master's in journalism. I also have expertise and experience in program development and management through my current employment. Again, I would consider this appointment an honor and a privilege to serve the great state of Maine. Thank you for your consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Are there questions for the nominee? All right, I don't see any, so thank you for your testimony, and I'm going to now turn to public comments on the nomination and ask if there's anyone in the room who wishes to speak in favor of the nomination. Please raise your hand at this time. And I will first bring in Senator Vitelli. Good morning. Again, Senator, go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you for bringing me back here this morning. Senator Sanborn, Representative Templer, members of the Health Coverage Insurance and Financial Services Committee. My name is still Eloise Vitelli, representing Senate District 23, all of Saginaw County and the town of Dresden in Lincoln County. And I thank you for the opportunity.
Senator Vitelli, we're having trouble hearing you, and I wonder if there's something on your speaker. It sounds like there might be a piece of paper on your speaker or something like, or you're on your microphone, something like that. The microphone's just distorted. It's not a broadband issue. Yeah, it's a microphone issue, and now we can't hear you at all. Okay, we're not able to hear you right now. That you just came back on for a second.
I can't do anything. It doesn't work.
Now we can hear you though. Your microphone has switched to off
working
of your
now?
headphones, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
We can. Okay, perfect. Please proceed.
Technology. I'm here to just add my voice in support of Gigi Guyton Thompson's appointment to this board. I've known Gigi since she arrived in Maine 13 years ago and applied for and was hired as a microenterprise coordinator with what was then Maine Centers for Women, Work, and Community. I was on the hiring committee and became, as she indicated, her supervisor as she assumed her duties with what is now known as New Ventures Maine. Gigi was hired for this position because of her background and her experience as a small business owner, her work in journalism and marketing, and her passion for helping women succeed. She brought all of that and more to the position. Gigi has proven herself to be committed, hardworking, and compassionate. She was quick to learn the entrepreneurial landscape in Maine and soon became part of the ecosystem of individuals, organizations, and fellow entrepreneurs eager to help others follow their dreams. Gigi's entrepreneurial spirit, her innovative problem-solving skills, and her ability to work with others make her a great fit for the board. I'm so glad to support her nomination, and I thank the committee for your thoughtful consideration.
Thank you, Senator Vitelli. Are there any questions for our colleague regarding this nomination? All right, seeing none, we thank you for joining us yet again and for getting the microphone issue worked out. And I'm going to move you back to the attendees space. And next, I will bring in Janet Smith. Good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning, Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, and members of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services. My name is Janet Smith, and I am the Executive Director for New Ventures Maine. I am here to support Gigi Guyton Thompson's nomination to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. New Ventures Maine is a statewide organization whose mission is helping Maine people succeed in the changing economy and achieve an economic security for themselves and their families. We attain our mission by providing training, individual coaching, online and on-site, in planning careers, starting businesses, managing money, and building assets and building leaders, developing leaders. Gigi's 13-year work history with New Ventures Maine and her passion and reputation for helping underserved populations achieve economic security uniquely qualify her to serve on the Maine Retirement Savings Board. As previously mentioned, Gigi has been a microenterprise specialist for her entire career at New Ventures Maine, and upon taking on the New Ventures Maine ED position, I asked Gigi to lead the microenterprise specialist team. As an asset specialist, she mentioned she provides financial education, but she also manages match savings programs that can be used for home purchase, home repair, vehicle purchase, vehicle repair, emergencies, further education, and growing or starting small businesses for low-income individuals and families. So she has experience in helping people to save. And as she's also mentioned, she has some experience with unique populations and targeting savings to them with her work with the Southern Maine Women's Reentry Center and the Start Over Strong program. Because of this experience, both in financial education and match savings, I believe she will be an asset to this board, who was tasked with educating participants and potential participants on the benefits of planning and saving for retirement. Also helping them decide on the level of participation and saving strategies that may be appropriate for them, and helping them develop greater financial capability and financial literacy, including partnerships that she's developed through the years with organizations in the state specializing in financial literacy education. In addition, she has an outstanding reputation for her skills, knowledge, and experience relating to the interests of small employers from her work helping people start small businesses, following through with them through their early stages of their businesses and supporting their success. Her her graduates continue to reach out to her beyond the startup of their businesses. In closing, I highly recommend that you approve Gigi Guyton-Thompson's nomination to the Maine State Retirement Board. She will bring a wealth of knowledge and experience relating to the interests of employees in achieving financial security and developing financial capability, including through retirement savings. Thank you in advance for your consideration and support.
Thank you, Ms. Smith, for your testimony. Are there any questions for Ms. Smith? All right, seeing none, I'm going to move you back to the attendee list, and thank you again for joining the committee today. I'll next ask if there's anyone else in the meeting who wishes to provide testimony on this nominee. Seeing no hands go up and all public comments having been taken, the hearing of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services for Gigi Guyton-Thompson of Peaks Island for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board is now closed. I will now ask the committee whether any member present has any objection to proceeding to take the vote immediately. Seeing no objection, the pending question before the committee is whether to recommend to the Senate of the 130th Maine Legislature that the nomination of Gigi Guyton-Thompson for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board be confirmed. The clerk will call the roll.
Thank you. Senator Sanborn.
Yes.
Senator Sanborn, yes. Senator Brenner. Senator Stewart. Representative Tepler.
Yes. And
Representative
not
Tepler.
caught in a time loop.
Representative Tepler, yes. Representative Alford.
Yes.
Representative Alford, yes. Representative Bleier.
Yes.
Representative Bleier, yes. Representative Brooks. Representative Connor.
Yes.
Representative Connor, yes. Representative Evans.
Yes.
Representative Evans, yes. Representative Matheson.
Yes.
Representative Matheson, yes. Representative Malorano.
Yes.
Representative Malorano, yes. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Representative Morris, yes. 9 members of the committee having voted in the affirmative and 0 in the negative.
Thank you, Ms. Kayford. So it is the vote of our committee that the nomination of Gigi Guyton-Thompson of Peaks Island for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board be confirmed. Thank you, Ms. Guyton-Thompson. Thanks so much for being with us today, and thank you for your service to the people of Maine. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to move you back to the attendee list. And next, we will turn our attention to the nomination of Jessica D. Linzer of Cape Elizabeth for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. And I will look to Representative Tepler for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that Jessica Linzer of Cape Elizabeth. I move that the Joint Standing Committee of Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services recommend confirmation of Jessica Linzer of Cape Elizabeth for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board.
Thank you, Representative Tepler. Is there a second for the motion? Seconded by Representative Melorano. And so next we will turn to the governor's representative, Mr. Boucher. Go ahead.
Good morning once again, Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services. Again, my name is Joe Boucher, and I'm the Deputy Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Mills. I'm here on behalf of the governor now to speak in support of the nomination of Jessica D. Linzer of Cape Elizabeth for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. In some of her materials, Jessica Linzer may also be listed as Jessica Simpson. In some circles, she is known by that name. Ms. Linzer is nominated as a member of the public who is retired and is a representative of the interests of retirees and employees. She spent her 35-year career at the Social Security Administration, beginning as a claims adjuster and retiring as a technical expert. In this role, she learned firsthand the challenges people face as they approach retirement. And since her own retirement, Ms. Linzer has been an active advocate and volunteer for AARP Maine, the National Active Retired Federal Employees, and numerous other civic organizations. Jessica Linzer's professional experience and volunteer experiences will make her an excellent addition to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. And on behalf of Governor Mills, I urge you to support her nomination. Be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Boucher. Are there any questions for Mr. Boucher? All right, seeing none, we'll next welcome the nominee to the panel. I'll bring her over now. Good morning. Please proceed.
Thank you. Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services. Good morning. I am Jessica D. Linzer, Linzer being my legal name, although many of you know me as Jessica Simpson, my married name and the name I use in the community. I reside in Cape Elizabeth, and I'm here to discuss my nomination to the newly formed Retirement Savings Board. I am humbled and greatly honored by this nomination by Governor Mills to represent the interests of workers and retirees on the board. I am a retiree from the federal government after a 35-year career with the Social Security Administration in Manhattan and Elizabeth, New Jersey. I began as a new college graduate and retired as a technical expert, their term for a senior employee who was assigned the most difficult and complex tasks to adjudicate. My husband, Henry, and I retired to Maine in 2010. In Maine, I became involved with two organizations that address issues of vital importance to retirees and financial security in retirement. The first was NARF, the National Active and Retired Federal Employees. As the legislative liaison for the Casco Bay chapter of NARF, now for 10 years and counting, I report to our group monthly, mainly about pay and benefit issues. My Social Security background allows me to explain issues that also impact many Maine state employees, such as the windfall elimination provision known as WEP, the government pension offset, the GPO, or COLAs, cost of living increases. My involvement with AARP Maine began in early 2018 and has grown in scope and importance over the last few years. The Work and Save legislation sponsored by Senator Vitelli and championed by AARP Maine was of vital interest to me. Henry and I are most fortunate because we have pensions and health insurance in retirement. At Social Security, I learned how critical the benefits were to so many, but also witnessed the hardships people faced when it was their only source of income in retirement. In Maine, that is 1/3 of seniors. I was now living in a state where 46% of private sector workers, or about 235,000 people, had no way to save for retirement out of their paycheck. All of this set the stage for my keen interest in the legislation and compelled me to work with AARP Maine and the legislators in Augusta so that the Mainers without a pension at their workplace would be able to invest and save in an easy, transferable, and low-cost retirement program. I was so happy when Work and Save passed last year by a huge bipartisan vote. The work we will do on the Retirement Savings Board will truly make a difference for so many and have a positive impact for individuals, families, and as a bonus, our state government coffers. I thank you for the opportunity to learn a little more about me and hope the committee will find my contributions worthy of your support. I thank you again.
Thank you, Ms. Linzer, for being with us today and for your willingness to serve the people of Maine in this way in your retirement. I will look to the committee and see if there are any questions for the nominee. Not seeing any, I will look to our attendee lists and ask if there's anyone present in the meeting who wishes to speak in favor of the nomination. Please raise your electronic hands. And I see one, so I will bring that person over. Good morning. Please proceed, Mr. Els.
Thank you. Good morning. Greetings, Chairs Sanborn and Tepler, and honorable members of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services. My name is Jay Fidels, and I am the Advocacy and Outreach Director, one of two, with AARP Maine. As you all know, AARP is the nation's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to empowering Americans 50 and older to choose how they live as they age. And on behalf of more than 200,000 members statewide, thank you for the opportunity to share my support, our support for Jessica Linzer to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. As an advocate for many issues that impact older Mainers, I meet many passionate, dedicated, vigilant fellow citizens. But then I met Jessica Linzer. Her energy and focus on issues that impact older Mainers, especially around financial security, rival my own. And who better to occupy a seat on this inaugural board than someone who spent a career on the front lines of the Social Security program, interviewing and seeing firsthand the impacts of limited savings on families and older Americans. This unique perspective will add much to the Maine Retirement Savings Board, their early discussions and project work. A program like this needs advocates who can see beyond just their own experiences and even see into the experiences of the many, using that perspective to build a successful program. Now, Jessica remains one of our strongest advocates at AARP Maine. It's hard for us to share her with all of you, but she has regularly worked and communicated on behalf of the 200,000 AARP members in Maine, be it in her own town, be it with her own town clerk, her town manager, or even Senator Collins and Senator King on some federal issues. And I'm routinely impressed with her desire to get things done, urge issues forward that might otherwise be marginalized or pushed to the political sidelines. Her willingness to ask the question, willingness to hear answers, no matter who is giving them, shows her ability to stay focused on the solutions and not be derailed by distraction. Jessica brings the voice of a true advocate. She won't sugarcoat solutions. She won't be a wallflower. Her desire to serve and create change for a better Maine runs very deep. And this type of passion and dedication to this issue is vital in a board like this, whose scope and strategy will have dramatic impacts on Mainers' ability to save money simply and easily. Mainers need many perspectives represented on this board for sure. And I would urge the committee to support strongly Jessica Linzer as she brings the experience and voice this board needs to successfully build out the Maine Retirement Savings Program. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Els. Are there any questions? All right, seeing none, we thank you for joining us today and providing your testimony. Okay, I'm looking to the attendee list, and I will now inquire as to whether there's anyone else currently in the meeting who wishes to provide testimony in any capacity related to the nomination of Jessica Linzer. I'm seeing none, all public comment having been taken, the hearing by the Joint Standing Committee of Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services for Jessica Linzer of Cape Elizabeth for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board is now closed. And I will look to the committee to ask whether anyone objects to proceeding with the vote immediately. Seeing no objections, the pending question before the committee is whether to recommend to the Senate of the 130th Maine Legislature the nomination of Jessica Linzer for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. And the clerk will call the roll.
Thank you. Senator Sanborn.
Yes.
Senator Sanborn, yes. Senator Brenner. Senator Stewart. Representative Tepler.
Yes.
Representative Tepler, yes. Representative Alford.
Yes.
Representative Alford, yes. Representative Bleier.
Yes.
Representative Bleier, yes. Representative Brooks.
Yes.
Representative Brooks, yes. Representative Connor.
Yes.
Representative Connor, yes. Representative Evans.
Yes.
Representative Evans, yes. Representative Matheson.
Yes.
Representative Matheson, yes. Representative Maloreno.
Yes.
Representative Maloreno, yes. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Representative Morris, yes. 10 members of the committee having voted in the affirmative, 0 in the negative.
Thank you, Ms. Kayford. So it is the vote of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage Insurance and Financial Services that the nomination of Jessica Linzer for appointment to the Retirement Savings Board be confirmed. Congratulations, Ms. Linzer, and thank you so much again for your willingness to serve the people of Maine.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to move Ms. Linzer over to the attendee role. And next, we will turn our attention to the nomination of Kevin Carley of Portland for appointment to the Retirement Savings Board. And I will look to Chair Tepler for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services recommend confirmation of Kevin Carley of Portland for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board.
Is there a second for the motion? Seconded by Representative Matheson. And I'll turn to Mr. Boucher to introduce the nominee.
Thank you once again, Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, and distinguished members of the committee. I am Joe Boucher, and I am the Deputy Director of Boards and Commissions for the Governor. I'm here today on behalf of the Governor to speak in support of the nomination of Kevin Carley of Portland for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. Mr. Carley is nominated as the member with skill, knowledge, and experience in the field of retirement saving, retirement plans, and retirement investment. Now a semi-retired consultant, Mr. Carley spent 7 years as the Executive Director of Maine Audubon beginning in 2001. And prior to that, he spent 20 years in the investment business, including 15 years as a partner shareholder at RM Davis Incorporated in Portland. He also spent time at Merrill Lynch in New York City and EF Hutton in Portland. He is a certified chartered financial analyst. Kevin Carley's vast knowledge of investment and retirement funds make him well suited to serve on the Maine Retirement Savings Board. And on behalf of Governor Mills, I urge you to support his nomination. I would be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Boucher. Are there any questions for Mr. Boucher with regard to this nomination? All right, seeing none, we'll next hear from the nominee. Good morning, Mr. Carley. Please proceed.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, members of the committee. My name is Kevin Carley from Portland. I'm here today to discuss with you my nomination to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. I'm a recently retired executive who had a varied career in financial services, investment management, and the nonprofit sectors. After graduating from Colby College with a degree in economics, I started my career as a registered rep, what they used to call a stockbroker, with Merrill Lynch in New York City. I then worked for E.F. Hutton, which is now morphed into Morgan Stanley in Portland for 3 years, and then 15 years as a owner partner at R.M. Davis, also in Portland. During that time, we grew the firm from 50 million in assets under management to over $1 billion. I think they're currently Maine's largest registered investment advisory firm with over $3 billion in assets under management. During that time, I passed the required exams to be a CFA or a chartered financial analyst. In the early 2000s, I left the private sector and became executive director of Maine Audubon from 2001 to 2008. Then 2008, 2012, I was Peace Corps country director in Micronesia, Palau, and the Eastern Caribbean. From 2012 until fairly recently, I've been a self-employed consultant / executive coach / bike tour leader, part-time outward bound instructor. I may from time to time continue to do some of those things, but I currently describe myself as retired. I was approached about serving on this committee by Senator Vitelli, I think referred to her by Senator Bream. I view serving on this committee as a way to play a small part in supporting the Mills administration and giving back to my community. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Carley. Mr. Carley, you are welcome to, there you go, to activate your video so we can see you as
Yeah,
well.
I was reading from my notes, sorry.
No problem. All right, are there any questions from the committee for the nominee? I don't see any. So thank you for joining us today to tell us a little bit more about yourself. And I'll next turn to the attendee space to see if there's anyone present who wishes to provide testimony with regard or in favor of Mr. Carley's nomination. Please raise your electronic hand. I don't see anyone in our space who wishes to provide testimony. So I will then close the hearing on the nomination of Mr. Carley of Portland for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. Is there any member of the committee who objects to us proceeding to the vote at this time? Seeing no objection, I'll have the clerk call the roll.
Thank you. Senator Sanborn.
Yes.
Senator Sanborn, yes. Senator Brenner. Senator Stewart. Representative Tepler.
Yes.
Representative Tepler, yes. Representative Arford.
Yes.
Representative Arford, yes. Representative Blyer.
Yes.
Representative Blyer, yes. Representative Brooks.
Yes.
Representative Brooks, yes. Representative Connor.
Yes.
Representative Connor, yes. Representative Evans.
Yes.
Representative Evans, yes. Representative Matheson.
Yes.
Representative Matheson, yes. Representative Malorano.
Yes.
Representative Malorano, yes. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Representative Morris, yes. 10 members of the committee having voted in the affirmative and 0 in the negative.
Thank you, Ms. Caperd. So it is the vote of the committee that the nomination of Kevin Carley of Portland for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board be confirmed. Congratulations, Mr. Carley, and thank you very much for your willingness to serve the people of Maine in your retirement in this capacity. We thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to move you back to the attendee list. And next, the committee will turn its attention to the nomination of Deborah Adams Newman of Hamden for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. And I will look to Co-Chair Tepler for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services recommend confirmation of Deborah Adams Newman of Hampton for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board.
Is there a second for the nomination? Seconded by Representative Evans. Mr. Boucher, please proceed.
Thank you once again, Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, and distinguished members of the committee. My name is Joe Boucher, Deputy Director of Boards and Commissions for the Governor, and I'm here today on behalf of the Governor to speak in support of the nomination of Deborah Adams Newman of Hamden for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. Deborah Adams Newman will serve as the member with expertise and experience in outreach and engagement and marketing. She has been the president and CEO of the Bangor Region Chamber of Commerce since 2016. Previously, she has served as the Deputy Commissioner of the Maine Department of Economic and Community Development, the Director of the Upstart Center, a tech business incubator at the University of Maine, a small business lender and advisor at the Washington Hancock Community Agency, and as the microloan program manager at Eastern Maine Development Corporation, among other roles. Deborah Adams Newman's vast experience working with and advocating for small businesses will make her an excellent addition to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. And on behalf of Governor Mills, I urge you to support her nomination. I would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Boucher. Are there any questions for Mr. Boucher?
Thank you again.
I see none. Thank you. So I'm going to turn to the nominee and bring her in to the panel.
There we go.
Good morning still. Go ahead, please proceed.
Good morning, Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, and honorable members of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services. I am Deborah Newman. I am the President and CEO of the Bangor Region Chamber of Commerce, and I live in Hamden. It is my pleasure to come before you as you consider my nomination to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. I'm often called upon to mentor, coach, and speak to audiences of young people about careers, opportunities, and lessons learned. And I share with them that every job, every experience, and every opportunity you have in life is just preparation for the next opportunity and the next one after that. And this opportunity illustrates that for myself. When I was asked to consider serving on the Maine Savings Retirement Board, I was honored and delighted for the chance to apply my experience to an initiative that will change lives and have a positive impact on the state for years to come. As a former business owner who just turned the page to 60 years old just a few weeks ago, I can speak from experience about the lack of retirement funds that I accumulated while in business for myself or for those I employed. As a former SBA lender and SBDC counselor, I can share countless stories of business owners who counted on that sale or transfer of their business to fund their retirement, only to find the valuation was far less than they expected, or their succession planning didn't go as planned. Aside from owning small businesses, I have had amazing job opportunities in Maine that have provided me with the experience of working with businesses statewide to find solutions to their challenges. And I have led organizations and created new initiatives that included developing policies and procedures, program guidelines, bylaws, and implementation strategies. I'm looking forward to applying that experience to the Maine Retirement Savings Board as we work together to roll out this program and ultimately change the lives and futures of individuals, small business owners, and others who don't have access to retirement programs. We will work together to create a program that is not burdensome to employers, but rather a benefit that they can offer to attract and retain employees in a time when we all know that is of critical importance. I'm grateful to each of you and others who supported this bill, and to Senator Vitelli for her vision and efforts to make this a reality. And I certainly appreciate your time and consideration this morning of my appointment to serve in this capacity. Happy to take any questions, and thank you.
Thank you for being here, Ms. Newman. Are there any questions for the nominee? Seeing none, I'm going to turn to the attendee list and ask if there's anyone in the attendee list who wishes to speak in favor of the nomination, and I'll bring over Mr. Ells again. Good morning again. Please proceed.
Good morning again. Thank you. My name is Jay Fidels, Advocacy and Outreach Director with AARP Maine. And I rise today on behalf of our more than 200,000 members statewide for your support in naming Deborah Newman of the Bangor Regional Chamber of Commerce to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. I believe Deborah will be an extremely valuable voice on a board specifically designed to serve and support small businesses, sole proprietors, and the growing startup culture in Maine. Deborah doesn't just represent small businesses of Maine, she's been one of them herself. She started and sold her own business several times, whether an inn or a tour boat company. She understands the decisions and everyday hurdles facing small business owners from Bar Harbor all the way to Saco. And on top of that, she's now spent a career helping other small business owners, give them guidance and resources that they need to make smarter decisions to build a thriving business. And she's done all of that in some of the most rural communities and counties in our state, not easily done. And now as the CEO of the Bangor Regional Chamber of Commerce, Deborah has her finger on the pulse of small businesses in Greater Bangor and beyond. For instance, she understood that many new small businesses lack the financial record history to show the necessary financial losses due to the COVID-19 pandemic impacting small businesses. She ran her own radio show and fought for economic development at the Eastern Maine Development Corporation and helped start the Incubator Without Walls program, pulling together rural small town entrepreneurs and small business leaders in those communities to get connected and share resources. Wherever Deborah is, she's building a network and helping it thrive. She will be a strong, valuable voice on a board prioritizing small business owner perspectives in Maine. I can't think of a more appropriate individual who brings the necessary expertise and clear dedication to support those small businesses in Maine than Deborah Newman. I urge the committee to support strongly her for a seat on the Maine Retirement Savings Board. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ells. Are there any questions for Mr. Ells? Seeing none, I'm going to move you back to the attendee space. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to ask if there's anyone else in the attendee space who wishes to make comments with regard to this nomination in any capacity. I don't see any hands up, so I will close the public hearing on the nomination of Deborah Newman of Hamden for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. And next I'll turn to the committee and ask if anyone objects to the taking of the vote on this nomination without the 15-minute delay. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the pending question before the committee is whether to recommend to the Senate of the 130th Legislature that the nomination of Deborah Adams Newman of Hamden for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board be confirmed. The clerk will call the roll.
Thank you. Senator Sanborn.
Yes.
Senator Sanborn, yes. Senator Brenner.
Yes.
Senator Brenner, yes. Senator Stewart. Representative Tepler.
Yes.
Representative Tepler, yes. Representative Alford.
Yes.
Representative Alford, yes. Representative Blyer.
Yes.
Representative Blyer, yes. Representative Brooks.
Yes.
Representative Brooks, yes. Representative Connor.
Yes.
Representative Connor, yes. Representative Evans.
Yes.
Representative Evans, yes. Representative Matheson.
Yes.
Representative Matheson, yes. Representative Malorano.
Yes.
Representative Malorano, yes. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Representative Morris, yes. Representative Quinn. 11 members of the committee voted in the affirmative and 0 in the negative.
Thank you, Ms. Kayford. So it is the vote of the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage Insurance and Financial Services that the nomination of Deborah Adams Newman for the Maine Retirement Savings Board be confirmed. Congratulations, Ms. Newman, and thank you so much for being willing to serve the people of Maine in this capacity. We appreciate your service. All right, thanks so much. I'm going to move you back to the attendee space. And next, we'll turn our attention to our last appointment for the day, which is the nomination of Daniel Pilch of Freeport for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. And I'll turn to my co-chair, Representative Tepler, for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Joint Standing Committee on Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services recommend the confirmation of Daniel Pilcher of Freeport for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board.
Is there a second for the nomination? Seconded by Representative Arford. And next, we will turn our attention to Mr. Boucher. Go ahead, Mr. Boucher.
Thank you once again, Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, and distinguished members of the committee. For the last time today, my name is Joe Boucher, and I'm the Deputy Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Mills. I'm here today on behalf of the governor to speak in support of the nomination of Daniel Pilch of Freeport for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. Daniel Pilch is nominated as the member with expertise and experience in developing or maintaining online platforms and systems. He is founder and president of Clove Hitch Management, a technology solutions company in Freeport. He also founded and was president of Marine Computer Systems from 1998 to 2007, was a partner in Broad Sound Partnership, CEO of Freeport Metrics, and served as Director of Technology for Anderson Consulting, now Accenture, for 6 years. Daniel Pilch's vast experience with computer systems and platforms in the finance and investment field will make him a valuable addition to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. On behalf of Governor Mills, I urge you to support his nomination. And before I entertain any questions, since this is our last nominee of the day, I would like to thank you all for taking the time to consider all our nominations. I know every time we make nominations, it throws a bit of a wrench into a committee schedule, and I just appreciate your time. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Boucher. Representative Tepler.
Thank you. I want to say to Mr. Boucher that this board is, I believe, very important to this committee. We were really happy to pass the law that created this savings program and are looking forward to the board getting to work and helping Maine people who are currently unable to save through payroll deductions to be able to do so. So I guess I could say no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a lot of work to get these folks on board or find these folks and get them nominated, but we were very happy to do it. Once the Senate vote happens, I think we're going to work very quickly to get them sworn in as soon as possible as well.
Terrific. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Boucher. And next, we will turn our attention to the nominee, and I'll bring him into the meeting to address the committee. Good morning, Mr. Pilch. Go ahead.
Good morning. I think I can just squeeze in a good morning. Thank you. Senator Sanborn, Representative Tepler, members of the Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services Committee. My name is Dan Pilch of Freeport, and I'm here today to discuss my nomination to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. Let me start by saying that as the chair of the town council here in Freeport, I have an appreciation for how long public hearings can be. So I promise to be very brief with my comments, as I know you've already dealt with a lot of nominees today, and I'm probably standing between you and a lunch break, so I will keep it short. I've had a number of discussions regarding the new program, and I think it's a great example of how Maine can be at the forefront of expanding retirement savings with a relatively innovative program. I expect that standing up a program of this size will require a significant amount of resources, including a good understanding of how to leverage technology. That's where I believe I can add value to the board. I've been involved with the technology industry for 30 years, and during that time have been intimately involved with over 100 new systems that were built from the ground up. As you might imagine, some were small systems that could be created within a few months, and others were multi-year endeavors for large enterprises such as MasterCard and AT&T. Most of my professional experience has been around this 0 to 1 stage of creating something from nothing. In particular, I've had the pleasure to work on systems involving access to pensions, coordination of government benefits, and health insurance portals, among others. As a technologist, a business owner, and a participant in local government, and a fellow University of Pennsylvania graduate, in conjunction with my background in the back-end work of financial services, I believe I'm in a unique position to engage with the rest of the Maine Retirement Savings Board to help stand up a new program for the state's small businesses. Thank you for considering my nomination today. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Pilch. Are there any questions for the nominee? All right. Seeing none, I'm going to turn my attention to the attendee space and ask if there's anyone in the meeting who wishes to provide testimony in favor of the nomination of Mr. Pilch. Not seeing any, I will close the public hearing on the nomination of Daniel Pilch of Freeport for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board and ask the committee if there's anyone who objects to proceeding directly to a vote on this nomination. Seeing no objection, the pending question before the committee is whether to recommend to the Senate of the 130th Maine Legislature the confirmation of Daniel Pilch of Freeport for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. The clerk will call the roll.
Thank you. Senator Sanborn.
Yes.
Senator Sanborn, yes. Senator Brenner?
Yes.
Senator Brenner, yes. Senator Stewart? Representative Tepler?
Yes.
Representative Tepler, yes. Representative Alford?
Yes.
Representative Alford, yes. Representative Blyer?
Yes.
Representative Blyer, yes. Representative Brooks?
Yes.
Representative Brooks, yes. Representative Connor?
Yes.
Representative Connor, yes. Representative Evans?
Yes.
Representative Evans, yes. Representative Matheson?
Yes.
Representative Matheson, yes. Representative Malorano?
Yes.
Representative Malorano, yes. Representative Morris?
Yes.
Representative Morris, yes. Representative Quinn? 11 members of the committee having voted in the affirmative, 0 in the negative.
Thank you, Ms. Kayford. So it is the vote of the committee to recommend confirmation of Daniel Pilch of Freeport for appointment to the Maine Retirement Savings Board. Congratulations, Mr. Pilch, and thank you so much for your service and your willingness to bring your technological expertise to the board. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you all. Thank you for your time.
All right. So with that, we have completed, whoops, I'm not sure. He ended up in the waiting room, but I think that's okay. With that, we have completed our work on the nominations, and I'll just take a moment to thank again Mr. Boucher for the work in putting together what I think was an excellent list of nominees for this important board and hitting all of the very specific requirements that we put into the statute as to which boxes they needed to check. So thank you for that effort.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thanks. All right. So next, I think rather than taking a lunch break, I actually think we can wrap up our work without needing one today. So the work session that we have scheduled for today is with regard to LD The LD number is escaping me right now. It is LD 1706. Yeah, LD 1706 is on the calendar for a work session today. And just for context, this is a bill related to generic drugs. And it was heard last session in a public hearing and then carried over to this session. And we have heard from the sponsor of the bill that he wishes for the committee to vote the bill ought not to pass. And as that is the will of the sponsor, I'm going to turn to Representative Evans for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you noted, I have had contact as well with the sponsor of the bill, President Jackson, and it is his wish that the committee move ought not to pass, and I make that motion.
Thank you, Representative Evans. Is there a second? I see Representative Melorano with her hand up for a second. So it has been moved and seconded, ought not to pass. And I will have, is there any conversation on the committee with regards to the motion? Seeing none, I'll have the clerk call the roll.
Thank you. Senator Sanborn.
Yes.
Senator Sanborn, yes. Senator Brenner.
Yes.
Senator Brenner, yes. Senator Stewart. Representative Tepler.
Yes.
Representative Tepler, yes. Representative Alford.
Yes.
Representative Alford, yes. Representative Bleier.
Yes.
Representative Bleier, yes. Representative Brooks.
Yes.
Representative Brooks, yes. Representative Connor.
Yes.
Representative Connor, yes. Representative Evans.
Yes.
Representative Evans, yes. Representative Matheson.
Yes.
Representative Matheson, yes. Representative Melorano.
Yes.
Representative Melorano, yes. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Representative Morris, yes. Representative Quinn. Eleven members of the committee having voted in the affirmative, 0 in the negative.
Thank you very much, Edna. So it is unanimous of those present and able to vote vote ought not to pass on this bill. And so with that, I'll turn to Colleen and have her walk us through any language review that she has for us to do today.
Sure. I have a few language reviews. I wanted to bring back the bills that the committee voted that related to proposed health insurance mandates or expansion or changes to existing laws. We don't yet have the fiscal information, but I wanted to bring back the language for you to look at sort of while it was fresh in my mind and fresh in your mind, because I expect it might be a little bit of time before we get the fiscal reviews back, given the work on the budget that's ongoing currently. So I'll share those real quick with you. And then I also have one additional bill. So I think there's 5 of them. I'll pull them up now. So the first one is LD 1003, and you had looked at this previously, and I had inadvertently forgotten to include some of the language that the committee wanted related to sort of defrayal of costs, and also Representative Tepler suggested a change, sort of wordsmithing it, but subsection 1 hasn't changed. This is just a recognition that under the current law, which requires a prosthetic device to be provided that meets the medical needs of the enrollee, for an enrollee that's under 18, a prosthetic device determined by the enrollee's provider to be the most appropriate model that meets the medical needs of the enrollee for recreational purposes, to maximize their ability to ambulate, run, bike, and swim, and to maximize upper limb function. It makes a change to the existing provision in the law that says coverage is not required for prosthetic devices designed exclusively for athletic purposes, and just says except as provided in sort of that exception that we've added. Coverage would not be required for a prosthetic device designed exclusively for an athletic purpose. You had also asked that there be a report back by the superintendent of insurance about the claims experience and the costs related to providing these additional services in 4 years. And so I added that as well. That was something that I had forgotten. So it would be a requirement that insurers report to the superintendent of insurance on their plan year experience for those 4 years. Then the superintendent would aggregate the data and report to the legislature in 2027. And then the application date of the proposal that moves forward would be for plan years on or after January 1 of 2023. And then you'll see this unallocated language section relates to the defrayal of costs, just stating that it's the intent of the legislature that the act clarifies existing law to provide that for prosthetic devices to meet medical needs of enrollees under age 18. That includes a device designed to meet their medical needs for purposes of recreation, and that it is the requirements of the act do not constitute an addition to the state's essential health benefits that would require defrayal of costs. So that's the proposed language on LD 1003.
Hey, I was just emailing you. Yeah.
Representative Connor, did you have a comment?
I apologize.
It was
I
just
think
an
my mic
open
came on.
mic. Okay, no problem. Any comments from the committee? All right, seeing none, you can go on.
Great. The next one is LD 665. This was the bill related to requirement for coverage for medically necessary dental procedures for an enrollee who's been diagnosed with cancer. You had seen this language when you took the vote on the bill in section 1 and 2 that coverage would be required for dental procedures medically necessary to reduce the risk of infection or eliminate infection or to treat tooth loss or decay in an enrollee prior to beginning cancer treatment. And then in paragraph B, it would require coverage for those medically necessary procedures to reduce the risk of infection, eliminate infection, or treat tooth loss or decay that are the direct or indirect result of those cancer treatments. It has an application date of January 1 of 2023. And like the previous bill we just talked about, it adds an unallocated section of law that it's the intent of the legislature that this clarifies existing law requiring coverage for these medically necessary procedures, and that the requirements would not constitute or do not constitute in addition to the state's essential health benefits. That's LD 665.
Okay, I don't see any comments from the committee, so you can go on.
The next one is LD 1357. This is the bill that related to coverage of postpartum care. I suggest a change in the title to clarify health insurance coverage for postpartum care. And this is the one that we talked about sort of rearranging the language of the law to sort of put the focus up front that coverage would be required for 12 months following childbirth for postpartum care and services and support necessary to transition a patient to a healthy and stable condition that meets the recommendations of the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. So it sort of reorders that, and then in the first sentence, and then says that the postpartum services and support provided in accordance with this section must include, and this is language that was included in the original bill, development of a postpartum care plan, contact with the patient within 3 weeks of the end of pregnancy, a comprehensive postpartum visit, treatment of complications of pregnancy and childbirth, including pelvic floor disorders and postpartum depression, assessment of risk for cardiovascular disease, and care related to pregnancy loss. And so you'll see the language of the proposed amendment is the same in 3 different sections, and that just reflects that The first section applies to individual insurance, the second section applies to group insurance, and the third section covers health maintenance organization, individual and group contracts. It would apply on or after January 1 of 2023, like the other bills we talked about. And similarly, it would include a provision that it's the intent of the legislature that this would clarify what's required currently for maternity benefits, that it includes coverage for 12 months of postpartum care, and that these changes are not an expansion of the state's essential health benefits. So that's the language for LD 1357.
Okay, not seeing any comments there.
Great. The next one is LD 1539. This is a divided report. All the rest of the amendments I've been reviewing have been unanimous. For the 7 members who voted ought to pass as amended, the vote was really just to make some changes to clarifying some of the definitions. The application date of the original bill was already 1/1/2023, so I didn't need to make a change there. So you'll see I just marked it up, but the sponsor recommended an amendment that would make some changes to the definitions of fertility care and fertility patients. So I just hand wrote it in for the revisor's office so they would be able to see it, but it would amend the definition of fertility patient to mean an individual or couple with infertility, an individual or couple who is at an increased risk of transmitting a serious inheritable genetic or chromosomal abnormality to a child, or an individual unable to conceive as an individual or with a partner because the individual or couple does not have the necessary gametes for conception. So it makes that clarification to the definition there, and then to the definition of fertility treatment, it adds a phrase that fertility treatment means procedures, products, medications, and services intended to achieve pregnancy that results in a live birth with healthy outcomes and is provided in a manner consistent with established medical practice and professional guidelines published by the American Society for Reproductive Medicine. So that was the change to LD 1539.
Okay.
And then the next one here is LD 441. The majority vote of the committee was ought not to pass, but there was a minority amendment sponsored by Representative Brooks. And so this would require health insurance coverage of comprehensive dental services by health plans. It adopts the definition of comprehensive dental services that's in the main care statute, which has now been added or was enacted by the legislature. So that change in the definition is there. Per the minority report, it also would prohibit health plans from imposing cost sharing for these comprehensive dental services. And then the second part of the bill would add to the functions of the Health Insurance Consumer Assistance Program services, specific mention of the services that they provide to include providing or assisting consumers with access to coverage for comprehensive dental services by providing information, referrals, or other assistance, and also providing information to the public about how to access these services through either private health insurance or through main care, and also including information about dental providers. It also would propose to provide funding for one additional position within that program to provide those consumer assistance services, and would propose that those funds be transferred from other special revenue. So this is the minority report on LD 441.
Okay.
And then lastly,
Representative
I
Brooks,
just
did
wanted
you
to
have any concerns with that?
Let's see, I wanted to thank Colleen for the work that she's done on the minority report. And I just was wondering if you could scroll a little bit slower through it. I just wanted to
Sure.
make sure something was included.
Which part?
Let's see.
Part A?
Okay,
related
yeah,
to
you
insurance,
can scroll down a little bit more. And yeah, I just wanted to say with part B, there was potentially some appetite for helping with the rollout of coverage for people that would have extended or enhanced benefit, and just correlating that with the report. It just seems like we would have the opportunity to prevent a lot of ER visits, for example, with this bill. So I just hate to let it go at this, but I know that it was a 12-to-1 report. I just see that there are ways, and speaking with other people, are ways also to make it so that it would have minimal or no cost in general.
Representative Brooks,
Sorry.
does this draft reflect your
It is,
vote
it is,
correctly?
Yep, it is.
Okay, great. Colleen, go ahead to the last one.
Okay, so thank you. The last one is LD 1858, and you had looked at this and on Thursday, I think, and voted it, but had made one additional change in the language to add in the reporting in the section 3, which would require the Board of Licensure in Medicine and Board of Osteopathic Licensure to work with stakeholders in the EMS board to develop guidance for physicians. You wanted to add physician assistants to list them specifically, as the guidance would be for both physicians and physician assistants who have authority to delegate activities under existing law to individuals. So I just added that. Wanted to make sure you saw that that language has been added to reflect your vote to the amendment to LD 1858.
Great.
So those are the amendments that I have. I hope to have some additional amendments for you to look at on Thursday. I'd also just wanted to mention that the Judiciary Committee has reviewed the freedom of access exceptions for LD 1815 and LD 1887. Senator Sanborn had them fly through that and approve those very quickly. So those will be reported out, can be reported out now, and you'll see those bills should be on the calendar when you next return for your legislative session for those two bills. And then the last thing I would mention is tomorrow, the joint public hearing with the Appropriations Committee. You will receive a separate link for the 10 o'clock public hearing to join the Appropriations Committee. So I'll be following, I should receive that today. You may get it directly, but if not, look for an email from either Edna or me with the Zoom link for the 10 o'clock joint public hearing if you're going to be attending that. And then at 11 o'clock, we're going to have our regular HCIFS committee meeting. So the link that you receive from the HCIFS committee will be the one you use for 11 o'clock. So you'll just look for that separate link for the AFA committee in case there's any confusion about which link you need to use.
Great. Colleen, in preparation, Senator Brenner, go ahead. You're all set? Okay. So Colleen, in preparation for our AFA hearing tomorrow, you did send out materials that summarize the lines in the budget that fall within our purview. And I'm just kind of scrolling through them quickly. I see some moving around of a point of what do you say, moving around of other special revenue funds to create some reorganization at a couple of different licensing boards. Is there anything in particular that you want to flag for us that we should look at? Or is it just pretty straightforward?
I think it's pretty straightforward. Most of, well, think most of them relate to sort of making some corrections, adding a specific head count in relation to legislation that was enacted last session, and then accounting for some sort of reclassification and transfer of funds, as you mentioned. There is a language part that relates to making some further clarification to the statutory language governing the Office of Affordable Health Care. So I just wanted to note that, which gives or adds the position to those positions that the governor has authority over setting the salary for that. So you'll see that there as well. But since it is a supplemental budget and most of our work really is in other special revenue, primarily, it should be straightforward for you. I will send you to, before the public hearing tomorrow, a specific link to where you can find any testimony, written testimony that's been filed with the Appropriations Committee on our part, because it's a little, it's a little different than how they've set up regular testimony for public hearings. So I'll send you the direct link for that. So you should be able to follow along with any testimony that's submitted. I expect that most of the testimony that you'll receive tomorrow will be from agency representatives, representatives of the administration. And so it may not be a very long public hearing.
Great. Okay.
And I guess the last thing I would say, just to keep it in your mind, is our report back date to the Appropriations Committee is March 14th. So you do have some time to provide your written report back to them.
Okay. Great. And just to let the committee know as well that yesterday we received reference of a new bill that we need to have a public hearing on. And also yesterday, the presiding officers waived the 1-week notice for public hearings. And so we have noticed that new bill, LD 2004, to be heard on Thursday. It's noticed for 9:59, but that's just how we notice things if there's already something else noticed for 10 a.m. so that we can make it clear that we're going to take up the public hearing before the work sessions that had been previously noticed. So we will be holding that public hearing on Thursday morning so that we are able to get all the bills that are in our possession at least heard by the end of this week. And we actually are on pace to finish our work by a week from Friday, as is our charge. So proud of the work that we've been able to do on this committee, and just wanted to give you those scheduling heads up. I anticipate that we'll have time to complete the work sessions on our outstanding bills next week. And that's certainly my goal and Representative Tepler's goal, and I think Colleen's goal as well. And so we'll be moving in that direction. Are there any other members of the committee who have announcements or wanted to say anything before we go? Senator Brennan.
I just have a quick question about the results of the basketball game.
That's what I wanted to know.
Well, they did win on Thursday, and they got to the finals, but they lost on Saturday morning in the finals to an undefeated team from Halldale. So Halldale will be playing in the state championship on Saturday, but they made it almost as far as they could have. So it was, and I was very appreciative of being able to see both games. So thank you for accommodating me.
I support both teams, but I am Halldale.
All right, very diplomatic, Representative Matheson.
Just wanted to tell you, Colleen, that North Yarmouth Academy was our nemesis for years. And my daughter played them and actually beat them one time to get to state. So I have a love-hate relationship with them.
Yes.
But I'm happy for you.
Trape is one of their rivals. Yes.
Yes.
Fun. Thanks.
All right, wonderful. Well, I'm always glad when we can balance our work and our lives and our kids. And so it's great that we were able to do that on Thursday. So With that, I think we've completed our work for the day, and I hope you enjoy your afternoon. Have a good afternoon, everybody, and we'll see you at 10 a.m. tomorrow with the AFA.
Bye. Representative Tepler? That's okay.